In this video, I'm going to give you 3 AI prompts and 2 scripts. These prompts and these scripts you can use before your next listing appointment. This way you walk in prepared, in control, knowing what to say, and you'll position yourself as the authority within the first 5 minutes. Because if you're walking into a listing appointment on simply, instinct and having only pulled comps, for lack of better words, team, you're guessing. And guessing, it shows. Most real estate agents walk into listing appointments because, they reviewed comparables. And in addition to pulling comparables, they skimmed the MLS and looked at some local market data. But sellers are not hiring you only to access data. They're hiring you for interpretation, clarity, leadership, and confidence. And when you sit down at the listing table, this is your opportunity to establish the narrative of confidence. Because if you don't shape the narrative, the seller will. So let's build your pre-listing system using AI and powerful scripts. Jumping right into AI, here's our first prompt. Prompt number 1 is called your listing intelligence brief. You're going to instruct your large language model, or AI. You're going to type in this: act as a real estate market analyst. Analyze the property address, neighborhood, trends, competing inventory, absorption rate, average days on market, and buyer demand indicators. Prepare a listing appointment briefing, including likely seller objections. Now here, this is why this matters. This prompt creates structured intelligence. It's an intelligence, call it a pre-listing report before you even step foot into the property. It forces yourself as well as your sellers to remove themselves emotionally from the home, think beyond surface level comps, and get into the psychology, of buyer patterns and behaviors. Why is this important? Because first and foremost, we're going to know what inventory that we're competing against. We're also going to understand how quickly or slowly homes are moving. And ultimately, we're prepared for the seller objections that are inevitably going to come up during the listing appointment. And this leads us to prompt number 2. This is your objection preload. I want you to go ahead and copy and paste this into any large language model. Generate the top 7 objections a seller may raise about pricing, timing, and commission in this market. Provide calm, confident response frameworks. What does this do, team? It removes the element of surprise. Confidence comes from being one step ahead. It comes from, anticipation. Instead of having to react right then and there in the room, now you're prepared, cool, calm, collective, and composed. You're able to reply with structured language that keeps you grounded. This leads us right into prompt number 3. Go ahead and copy and paste this result into, your large language model of choice. Using current MLS trends and comparative sales, create a data-backed pricing narrative explaining why listing the home at XYZ price positions the property competitively in the first 14 days. Notice something important about this prompt? We're not asking for the price. We're asking for a narrative. See, team, sellers do not argue with the numbers. They argue with uncertainty. This prompt gives you the language that frames the first 14 days of the listing. This creates leverage, not risk. Now, shifting gears to scripts, let me give you, based on these prompts, 2 scripts that you can actually use during the listing appointment. Script number 1 is used before you determine price. Mr. and Mrs. Seller, before we talk about price, let me show you what the market is already telling us. See, team, that line immediately shifts away from the actual price, from your opinion, to that which the market, the fair market value, what the market has decided the home is worth. In other words, it moves it away from emotion and roots it back in logic. Script number 2, this is when the pricing resistance shows up. Mr. and Mrs. Seller, if we overprice in the first 2 weeks, we're testing the market instead of positioning you to win it. This script reframes overpricing and places it in the category of strategic disadvantage, not optimism. And that's the difference between guessing and leading. Preparation is leverage, team. So there you go. Go ahead and run these prompts next time right before your listing appointment and walk in knowing that you're operating at a higher level of knowledge, local market knowledge, and having the scripts and strategies than the average agent. In other words, team, stop guessing. With that said, there's some links down below. Go ahead and click the link. You're going to see a ton of stuff. I don't want to burn time explaining all the tools, resources, systems, strategies, and solutions. But what I do want to draw your attention to is the opportunity for us to work one-on-one in a coaching relationship. Go ahead and click the link. Take a look at everything that I have to offer. And if you think working with me one-on-one would benefit your business, go ahead and reach out. I'd love to connect because, team, at the end of the day, it's actually your business, but get out there, get after it, grow your business. We'll talk soon, everybody. Bye-bye.